Hi there, I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston in the northwest of England. And I'm offering this devotion today as a balm for the heart, for the mind, for the spirit and for the soul. And it's titled, Falling Leaves, Loving What is Mortal. Each morning when we awaken, we do not know what the day will bring. There will no doubt be some kind of yin and yang about it all, really. There will be a balance to it. There will be blessings, there will be curses, there will be joys, there will be sufferings. Last Saturday was one of those such days for me, certainly. I spoke earlier with my Auntie Lynn and she told me that my cousin Cheryl's life was coming to an end. I then met with some friends and an hour or so later the news came through that Cheryl had in fact died. I was very fortunate to be with those friends that day. Although we knew what was coming, it was still a shock to the system, losing dear Cheryl. An hour or so later I set off on a long car journey alone. I was going to pick up a new puppy dog, the lovely Havanese Molly. You may be able to hear her actually running around the kitchen. It was a day that reminded me so powerfully of the impermanence of life last Saturday. Although of course not the impermanence of love. Love always lives on. Physical life comes to an end though, and sadly it comes to an end. And those that remain are left to grieve. Now of course as a nation we are currently grieving the loss of Queen Elizabeth II after a 70-year reign that has touched so many lives, been a part of our culture, our lives for so long. And the nation is grieving and so many of us are grieving and we hold them too. But there is also personal loss too, and there has been much of that this last few years. It's been a difficult time. We don't know what's coming. Each morning when we awaken, we do not know what the day will bring. So how do we prepare ourselves for the unknowable? It's a question that brings to my heart really, the following poem by David White, particularly the beginning. What to Remember When Waking by David White. In the first hardly noticed moment in which you wake, coming back to this life from the other, more secret, movable and frighteningly honest world where everything began, there is a small opening into the new day which closes the moment you begin your plans. What you can plan is too small for you to live. What you can live wholeheartedly will make plans enough for the vitality hidden in your sleep. To be human is become visible while carrying what is hidden as a gift to others. To remember the other world in this world is to live in your true inheritance. You are not a troubled guest of this earth. You are not an accident amidst other accidents. You are invited from another and greater night than the one from which you have just emerged. Now, looking through the slanting light of the morning window toward the mountain presence of everything, you can be what urgency calls you to your one love. What shape waits in the seed of you to grow and spread its branches into the future sky. It is waiting in the fertile sea, in the trees beyond the house, in the life you can imagine for yourself, in the open and lovely white page on the writing desk. When we awaken, we have no idea what the day will bring. The day is a blank page. It is in that first hardly noticed moment when you open your eyes again that the sacredness of life is born. A sacredness which we lose when we make plans that deny that things are always changing. In that moment we close the moment, the reality of what it means to be human, of what it means to be alive. My little dog doesn't. I've been watching the leaves falling these last few weeks. They've fallen earlier this year, no doubt a consequence of a hot summer, Watching those leaves falling reminds me of the impermanence of life, something that is hard to accept for most of us, including myself at times. Marina Popova has described this as that perennial heartbreak of beholding the absurdity of our longing for the permanence in a universe of consistent change. It brought back to my mind the first of those Delphic maxims, know thyself. To know yourself, of course, meant to know that you are mortal, that your life will come into being, but will also come to an end. Mortality is the beauty and energy of our lives. It reminds me just how precious life is. I have watched this lovely new puppy Molly come to life and grow in confidence these last few days. She is a great responsibility, and being a dog, of course, it is likely that I will watch her grow and develop and become who she is, but I will also have to live with the knowledge that I will one day witness the end of her life, and that will break my heart. But for now, I will enjoy her and my responsibility for her life. She is the most joyful of blessings. If a little mischievous, she's here actually chewing away at something. Molly. Oh no, she doesn't want to play. This brings to my mind one of my favourite Mary Oliver poems, In Blackwater Woods. I have named actually my puppy, Miss Molly Malone. Now everyone assumed that she's named after the Irish folk song, which isn't true actually, if truth be told. She's actually named after Mary Oliver's life partner and eventual wife, Molly Malone Cook. Anyway, here's the poem. In Blackwater Woods by Mary Oliver. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light, are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds. And every pond, no matter what it is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this. The fires in the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. I so love Mary Oliver. She had such a real spirituality. A spirituality connected to the ground. It was earthy, it was humble, in the reality of where everything exists. She saw the beauty in life without ever hiding from the shadow of the darkness, the sorrow, the pain. And in many ways she found God just as much in the darkness and the suffering of life as in the beauty of the natural world, expressed so beautifully in this poem. As she reminds us here that thankfully the other side of the river of loss is salvation. By the way, she was in no way sentimental about the natural world. She was a very real observer and writer about life. She saw things as they actually were. Maybe more than they actually were. Actually, more than most of us see. The eyes she saw, what she saw through those eyes was a wonder to behold, and what she was able to put into words in a really soulful way. She lived from soul. And she awakened so many souls. She certainly awakened mine over the years. So that's why I named my little dog after her partner and eventual wife, Molly Malone Cook. She's just called Miss Molly Malone. She won't come here now, she's off playing. I think I just heard her then. This poem reminds me just how vital it is that I follow her instruction. To love what is mortal, to hold it against our bones, and when the time comes, to let it go, to let it go. Sounds simple, doesn't it? And it is simple, but it's not easy. But I agree with her. It is the only way to truly live in this world. So I'm going to repeat those final words again. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go. To let it go. Brings to mind some other words from one of my great theological, spiritual, human heroes, the wonderful Forrest Church, who wrote, "The fact that death is inevitable gives meaning to our love, for the more we love, the more we risk losing. Love's power comes in part from the courage required to give ourselves to that which is not ours to keep, our spouses, children, parents, dear and cherished friends. It takes courage to love what is mortal, to hold it to your bones as if your life depended upon it, and when the time comes, to let it go. To let it go. It takes true faith, it takes real heart, real courage to live this way." And the falling leaves, they remind me of this. They are letting go of what is mortal. Why do we find it so hard? Why do we wish to cling on forever to what is mortal? The Buddhists say that life is dukkha, that there is suffering in life, that nothing lives forever, nothing lasts forever, nothing ever lasts forever, as Echo and the Bunnymen once said. That life is impermanent, that nothing is permanent, that everything is impermanent. And I was thinking of this as I looked at those falling leaves, and as I watched little Molly playing with them. She loves leaves, by the way. I also noticed how many we've been carrying into the house. I thought of the cycle of life, how this time next year we'll have gone full circle again, and there will be loss, but there will be new life too. There will be suffering, but above all else, there will be love. And actually, love does live on. We all know that. You don't need me to tell you that. You know that. Love lives on. Remember, as Mary wrote, to live in this world, you must be able to do three things. To love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes, to let it go. To let it go. I am holding these words deeply in my heart at the moment. They are teaching me how to live spiritually alive. They teach me a beautiful reverence for life, how sacred life is, how vital it is that we recognise the sacredness of life. As Wendell Berry said, there are no unsacred places, there are only sacred and desecrated places. And when we don't recognise the sacredness of life and the sacredness of our own lives, then we become the desecrators. Maybe not of others, sometimes of ourselves. I've certainly been that man. It's important that we love as deeply as we can this life, to love fiercely and to hold those that we love so tightly to our hearts. But when the time comes, when they breathe their last breath, we must let them go. We must let them go. We must, in order to love life, this mortal life that we're all a part of. It's the only way to live spiritually alive. It's what we're here for, to live and to love what is mortal. For our lives do absolutely depend on it, to hold what is mortal to our hearts, but when the time comes, to let it go. To let it go. Amen. So I'm going to end this little devotion with some final words of blessing. Gosh, we need to bless. We can all bless, and we bless when we give our whole hearts to life. So some final words of blessing. If we would but allow the majesty of creation to be, it would bless us. If we would incorporate the myriad aspects of creation instead of trying to incarcerate them, conflict would end. If we could accept ourselves, maybe then we would accept others. If all these questions add up to confusion, All these answers add up to one affirmation. Love life and it will bless you. And may we carry this blessing with us, and may we do so in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Go in love.